This is a battle with one of my best buddies from the Zach Kamon. I've been looking forward to this for a long time, as he's been working on his team, and he has a Crobat, I have a Crobat. I know he has the same set as mine, so I'm going to U-turn because he's not going to do anything to my Crobat, and he might want to switch, he might want to U-turn, so and that's actually good that I won the speed tie. I'm going to bring in Fortress, and Toxic Spikes are super obvious, which makes Taunt super obvious. So I'm just going to go for Toxic Spikes, predicting him not to predict that. But anyway, now I switch right back out, predicting a U-turn, because why would a Crobat stay into a Fortress after it has Taunt, and then he U-turns. That's perfect. And now I see Metagross, so I'm going to U-turn again and go back into Fortress, which is very, very good because I'm going to get one layer of Toxic Spikes up, and that's going to be huge. Misses a Meteor Mash. Obviously it wouldn't have done much, but it would have been extra damage. However, I would have gotten a couple turns of lefties there, so I don't know, it wasn't enormous. His Ape was supposed to have Fire Blast and not Flamethrower. Just take note of that. And I believe I go for Flamethrower on a switch, just if he wants to switch to something new. And I see Gastrodon. I'm afraid of Toxic. And then he makes a nice switch. And I go to Crobat, so this is another matchup between Crobat and Crobat. And I love these. They're so, everyone is so intricate, and it's just a fight for these tiny advantages that they feel like they could make or break in the game at the time. I outright switched to Fortress and not U-turn. I was predicting him to U-turn, and I kind of wanted to draw Ape back in. That was why I went to Fortress. I want Ape in right now, because if Ape is in, it takes Toxic and Life Orb damage. Anyway, I decided between Blissey and Gardevoir, because I was assuming it would have Flare Blitz. So that's why I went into Gardevoir. I believe I wished on this turn, expecting the Flare Blitz or something. Oh no, I Thunderbolt, predicting the switch. And he ends up Will-O-Wisping, which misses, which, you know, it's not huge, but it sucks because he doesn't get passive damage on Gardevoir. So I don't have to waste a turn with Aromatherapy. But I mean, a miss is a miss, and it is 75, but you know, it's lame, especially because he already got a pretty petty Meteor Mash miss. Just kind of the game kind of taunting him. Anyway, I go to Crobat now. I was expecting Flamethrower. I knew I would live just fine, and it does a lot. If he got that damage variation with Fire Blast, he would not have killed. So just saying that. But it would have had Crobat a lot lower. I U-turn there. Obviously he's gonna switch. He needs his Infernape. It's the only thing to kill Blissey. And yes, he's Skarmory, which is great because I decide between Slowbro, Gardevoir, and Electivire. If I go to Gardevoir, I can Thunderbolt it, I can Will-O-Wisp it, but that just forces extra switches, and I have to Rapid Spin eventually. So I decide, yes, it's time. I'm going to show him Electivire. It's the only guy on my team that he doesn't know. So I was very hesitant to do that because I'm expecting the surprise factor to be crucial. But I am eventually going to go to Electivire. I have Flamethrower. I know it's not going to kill, but he's definitely not going to want to stay in. And he does switch out to Gastrodon. I Flamethrower, and now I assume he's definitely not going to Earth Power. He might recover. He might Surf. So I'm going to go for a Cross Chop and get some nice damage on. And it crits. He did choose Earth Power. But we looked at it later, and I had something like a 90% chance to kill, amazingly enough. Electivire is just a beast, and Gastrodon's defenses are not that good. He shows Slack Off with his Ape, which is, it looks kind of dumb, but it's actually perfect, because my main method for beating Ape, it's not my only method, but my main method for beating Ape is just letting it get Life Orb and Toxic damage and just burn it down. But Slack Off is going to make that hard. I forget what I do on this turn. I might go for a Flamethrower. Or, no, I think I just go for a Psychic. And, oh right, I tried to show that. There's no way he's staying in, which is why he's staying in. That was just basically an in before for me. I just thought that'd be nifty if I said that and then he stayed in. So that's why I went for Psychic, but he ends up not staying in. He thought for a long time here. I think this is where we did the calcs on Gastrodon and realized how much of a boss Electivire is. I think this is the turn he switches to Crobat as I Psychic, which is huge because Crobat's enormous in this game. I think he predicted me to predict him. Oh yeah, that's the damage calc. Gastrodon had 212, and 14 out of the 16 damage rolls would have killed it. And yet he does go to Crobat on that. I guess it's a muffed prediction, but that's huge because I just didn't have anything for Crobat. So that's going to hurt him a lot in the long run. Crobat wouldn't have done much against me, at least not as much as my Crobat can do against him. But it is just a pretty big advantage for me. And yeah, so I switched to Gardevoir, still expecting him to have a physical fire move. And right now it's looking tough with his Arcanine and Infernape both having recovery moves because I'm not really sure how I want to go about killing them. I know how I can take hits. I have 14 out of my 6 guys can take hits from them, but just killing them is going to be the problem. You know, I switched to Bliss as he goes to Metagross. I can't tell if he predicted that or obviously I don't even know. He's pulling off a ton of predictions here, and I'm not quite sure which ones he's going for. That is a very solid one. Arcanine into Fortress, and I actually thought about Gyro Balling there for the Morning Sun, but it's just not going to do much with the Intimidate and with it resisted and stuff. So with Blissey, I S-Toss right there. Obviously, he's not going to do anything with Blissey. He might recover, and then Poison is going to make the recovery with the S-Toss pretty irrelevant. And I'm not staying. There's no chance I'm staying in, which is why I stay in and S-Toss. And he slacks off, which is nice because it looks like he gets right back to around. He gets right back to where he started that turn. So it's just kind of telling him like, yeah, I got you. I got you. Just pretty heady prediction. Anyway, this turn I believe I Flamethrower, predicting Skarmory. He does slack off again, which is a nice play because he kind of called it that I wouldn't stay in with Blissey twice. And this was stupid. This wasn't like he told me he thought I was going easy, but it wasn't. It was just stupid. I was thinking Skarmory would come in, and then I was thinking I would switch right out. I have no idea why. I have no idea why. I think I just didn't want any hazards to be up when Skarmory died. But I don't know. Actually, that wasn't quite as stupid as it looks because if he gets Stealth Rock or something up, that can potentially be pretty crucial, and it looks like it's kind of hard to get Fortress some free turns to Rapid Spin because he has 2 fire types. So I'm not hitting myself too hard for that play, but it was kind of stupid not killing Skarmory, and this is just more of the same. That's kind of why I went off on a tangent there because you've seen this sequence about 14 times. And now here I think did I Psychic there? Yep, I Psychic. And I should stay in Flamethrower. I don't know. I figured he'd have T-Punch or something, but I just didn't want to stay in, which I should have stayed in, because I would have done a lot of damage with Flamethrower, and he has Life Orb, he doesn't have Recovery, he doesn't have a Wish Passer. I don't know, I should have stayed in, probably not gotten 2-hit KO'd by Thunder Punch, and probably just Life Orb stalling. Anyway, I don't want to go to sleep with Fortress, because Skarm is still running around, and I can't let it have a free turn while I go to Blissey and Aromatherapy. So I pulled the Gyro Ball there just to get some free damage, I guess. And right there, I predicted another switch into Infernape, and now I should have just Psychic again, because all his guys are getting low, and just any damage on them is pretty much gonna be a game ender for me. But I do keep predicting switches, which is kind of dumb. And I Flamethrower. And then he shows me Grass Knot, which is going to 2-hit KO. So I kind of have to switch. And at this point, I decided to switch to Fortress to try and preserve the 6-0. I want Slowbro more than I want Fortress for Arcanine, and hell, even Metagross can get beat by Slowbro, and also Skarm. But he does slack off when I switch, and he does just kill Fortress. He thought that was huge. I didn't really, because I was never that worried about Metagross. Anyway, he lets Ape stay in and die. And now I think he goes into Metagross. And I'm content on letting Crobat go down with with a ton of damage on people and a ton of forced switches and stuff like that. And yeah, I was content to let Crobat die, but he ends up getting some more turns in there because he uses Agility. I go into Blissey to Life Orb stall him because I know all 4 moves now. I know he doesn't have anything crazy like Arrest. I talked about that with him afterwards, like Arresto, Chesto, Agility Ross. I think I'm gonna make that someday because it sounds badass. Anyway, I'm just gonna let Blissey die to Meteor Mash. So I'm gonna let Metagross die to Life Orb. There's Arcanine and there's, I think, Skarmory. I think that's it. So Blissey's use is pretty much. I mean, yes, she's useful for Arcanine, but I just don't need her. I have Slowbro to beat her. Hell, Electivire could beat Arcanine. Crobat's in here again because he's my lead, and I'm expecting Morning Sun, so I figure I'll live a Fire Blast if he goes for it, or a Flare Blitz, I don't know. And it ends up killing me. So that Arcanine's kind of a beast, and it is getting very low there. So I just go into Slowbro to make him. If he slacks off with Psychic, I think I can kill him. Flamethrower was a misclick there. That wasn't a misprediction. And now he sends in Skarmory. Yeah, it's basically over at this point. I'm going to go into Electivire and finish him off. So, great game. There were some lame haxes, and but you know what? We both played pretty decently, so definitely look forward to a rematch. Thank you guys for watching. Yeah. MAKAR out. MAKAR in. I was just kidding. I have more to say. My battle with Kowalski, the rematch happened. I just narrated that, but it didn't save it. So maybe later I'll narrate it, but it was pretty disappointing to me. So I don't know about that. He did beat me, and I feel like crap for not posting it because I feel like I look like a sissy for not posting losses. But anyway, I'm planning a podcast with Cooper Kushiro, Kamon. His channel is Kamon XX, I believe. I'll plug him somewhere, and myself. So look for that on the channel soon. And that's about it. MAKAR out.